G'day. Sandblasters absolutely destroyed my HK boot lid, but I'm not upset. They did warn me this could happen, but what it's doing is it's giving me an opportunity to show you how I fix it using splines and body filler. This is what I mean by destroyed the boot lid. The sandblasting has heated it up and warped the panel and weakened it, and what it's caused is oil canning. And that's when you can just like push the metal and it just sort of pops in and out, I guess, like an oil can. And so it's all weak through there. I just got to bang that up first, and when I do my splining over that and the filler heats up and shrinks back, it will give it some strength there, and hopefully we'll be able to block it nice and straight. Now, splines are rulers of all shapes and sizes. They're made of a high tensile composite material with diamond cut edges, and they're perfectly balanced and straight. This is my spline kit. I bought this from a company called Melomotive. You can actually look them up on YouTube and see Paul's work there. It's quite interesting, so I suggest you do that after you watch this video, of course. But I've got them all here, all different shapes and sizes, and I'm going to show you how I use these to straighten this boot lid. So we can see just how warped these panels are, I'm going to give it a good longboard block with some 80 grit. Plus, I really want to sand off this epoxy primer before I start wiping body filler into it. So, it's going to go across. You can already see. Well, now we can really see just how warped this panel is. I mean, have a look at these bracing ridges there. We've got dents everywhere. A lot of these are just regular dents, but this is just all sandblast warping. And this panel should really be thrown in the bin. But for the sake of using my splines and seeing if I can get a fridge magnet to stick to this after I've got it straight, I say we have a bit of fun with it and try and get it fixed up. I'm just going to give the epoxy primer a really good buzz with 180, actually 80, just so the bog sticks really well, especially getting in all these low areas that my block couldn't get to. Now that I've given this a really good sand with 80 grit, I'm going to mix up my bog, and I'm going to apply it along the top here with a conventional applicator, and then I'm going to use a large spline that's going to cover this entire half area of this boot lid and drag it down, all that bog right down from top to bottom, trying to fill in all my lows. Now the bog I'm using is Resto Finish. It's made by the same company that made the splines, Melomotive. And I figure, well, if I'm going to use their splines, I might as well use their bog. It obviously works in conjunction with their splines. So I'm going to have to put in quite a lot. I mean, you see how badly warped this panel is. So I'm going to scoop up as much as I can. Get it on the bog board. Now, I'm not expecting to fill it all perfectly in the first wipe. It's going to take a few, I guess, but the initial one's going to need quite a lot. So I think that's a good amount. Now they say 2% hardener or 50 to 1. So I'm just going to guesstimate. I mean, a lot of people like to put it on scales and get the right amount. But I'm just going to use my hardener here and good little squirt on there. So I'm going that much. I've been doing this for many years and you get pretty good at guessing. It's just a matter of picking it up with your applicator and squashing it back onto itself. You'll squash it really hard to squeeze out any air pockets that might get in it. Those air pockets will cause pinholes in your bog. When you're sanding it back, you see these little holes in it if you don't squash all your air out of it. It's like a fold and press. Got my activated bog. I'll start on this side. Just gonna put big dollops of it along the top. I've got my spline. It's easily going to cover that entire length. Do it a few times to catch it. Some more there where it goes really deep through the middle. Starting to fill nicely now. Just keep scraping that extra filler off, get it where you need it. Need some more in the middle there. So you can see it's so shallow there, I can't even fill it all in the first fill. It's just got a big bulk of it done, but this is going to take at least another 2 or 3, I think, to really get it checked to the right high points. Now I've got to clean this up before the bog goes off, so I'm going to get some thinners and a rag and clean this up really quickly. It's important to keep your splines spotlessly clean. I'm just going to show you, it's all dry, this bog now, and you can see all the high points. It's where the bare metal is still shown. They're the points that I really need to get all the filler filled up to, so it gets straight after it's blocked. So I'm going to give it a good longboard block now with some 80 grit and my dustless vac, and hopefully I'm not going to be losing too much product. That's the whole point, is to fill in the areas that need filling and keeping the highs all visible. All right, giving that a really good longboard, and yeah, it's exposed all those high points, and I can't really get much more out of it because everything else is low, so it's time to mix up another round and go again. But before I do that, let's do a magnet test. I've got a weak one and I've got a stronger one. This little weak one barely holds up one of my kids' school photos on the fridge, but this one's quite strong. We'll start with the stronger one. This is the deepest point here where the most body filler will be. Let's see. All right, the strong one, no problem sticking there. Let's try the weak one. All right, still good stick. So we might just be able to repair this boot lid after all within the scope of what I think is acceptable. We won't know until I've got it completely straight, and even in primer, I want that magnet to stick even when it's in its spray bog, so we'll see. I'm just gonna see where my gaps are. When the spline sits on the panel and I drag it, I can see where it opens up gaps, so I know where I've got to concentrate my fillers. And obviously it's right through the middle here still, but there is still some gapping at the edge here, so I'm going to have to try and see if I can work some in over on the edge of the boot lid, and still a nice dent here as well. So now that I know that, I'm going to mix my bog up and give it another go. All right, mixed up consistently. Again, start at the very top, loading it up. Let's do this. One practice go. Now time for the real deal. see straight away it really doesn't want to bite into this low section here. I've just got to keep pressing down nice and firm to try and get some in there. There we go. Might even just try coming back on it, see if I can get it a bit better at the bottom there. All right, that's that for now. And that's my wastage. Tiniest little bit, but I'm not even gonna waste it. I'm gonna find a little low section to put it in and just pop it in here. And I'll just use my spline to clean that up. All right, time for round two's magnet check. I'm just gonna put the weak one on first. Now it's sticking. I definitely don't feel it's quite as magnetized as after round one, naturally. Obviously, very strong magnet's going to stick quite well. But this one is just a very weak one and it's still sticking. So, happy with that. All right, round three. Hopefully, not too many to go. All right, I've chosen a slightly more flexible spline. I just want it to be able to flex into the areas that I really need to get it to, which is the edges. And once again, it really tries to avoid getting in this low section through the middle. You can see it just fills in nicely with a little bit more pressure through the middle. Running out of time here. Bog's starting to go off. Okay. I think I'll leave it. The more I play with it, the worse it's going to get. All right, I've just sanded back my third fill and I'm getting very close. It's all straight down here. There's a little bit of a low here and still a decent low right where through it's sunk back the most. So I'm pretty confident with one more wipe and fill, I'm going to have this side completed and then I can move on to the rest and do our final checks. To use a smaller spline, as I'm not needing to cover the entire area now, as all this is good. So a smaller spline, just concentrating on the area I need to. Part of my spline. Now if that hasn't filled it, I don't know, nothing will. All right, well as I expected, it took 4 good wipes to get this side straight. Now, the final test, let's see if the weak fridge magnet will still stick. Please, 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 please. Oh, no. So the weak fridge magnet sticks at the edges where the high points are, but not right in the middle. I'll grab the stronger magnet and see if the stronger magnet sticks. Just see. Oh yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah, that little weak fridge magnet barely even sticks one of the kids' school photos to the fridge. So, as long as I can get just a regular fridge magnet to stick, there's a chance I still might keep this boot lid. But, if I can find a better boot lid in the meantime, I'll probably just buy it. But for the sake of a nice little experiment, I thought we'll do this. Anyway, I'm going to finish this boot lid off. I'm going to get it in spray bog, and that'll add at least another 1,000 to 1,500 microns. So 1,000 microns is 1 millimeter. So I would say there's probably 4,000 to 5,000 microns in this already with bog. So I'll be adding at least another 1500 microns with spray bog. And then when paint goes over the top, that should be an extra 500 microns. So I'll do a final magnet test right at the end. So hit like, subscribe, and that little bell so you get the next video, and we'll see where we go with this. Thanks for watching.